Okay, we're here with Luke talking about percents of numbers. Ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about some common percents that we see all the time, and then we're going to talk about some other ones. So first, let's just do some common percents. So 50%, you know that means half, right?
Yeah.
So what's 50% of 18?
9.
9. Good. That one's pretty easy. What's 25% usually? It's not half. What is it usually?
1/4.
1/4, right? So what's 1/4 or 25% of 40?
10.
10. Good. And here's one more really common percent. 10%. What's 10% of 70?
7.
7, because 10% is like 1/10, right?
Yeah.
Or you can just move the decimal place one time to the left. So that's 7. Okay, so you've probably memorized 50%, 25%, and 10%. But there's another way to think about percents that we can capture with these ones. So let's look at what's really going on with 50% of 18, or another way to look at it. 50% is like 50 over 100. That's the definition of a percent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And just to tell you where we get the word percent from, 100 is like a century. 100 years is a century. So cent means 100. So we're always talking about per 100. That's where the number percent comes from. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So 50% is 50 per 100, or 50 over 100. And then of always means multiply in math. Okay, so 50% of 18 is 50 100ths times 18. And you could use your calculator to do 50 times 18 to get 900. And then 900 divided by 100 is
9.
9. And that was the answer that you came up with by just memorizing that 50% is half, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is another way that we can use to calculate the percents of numbers. Let's do the same thing over here with the 25%. So what would be the 25% as a fraction?
25 hundredths.
Yep, so we write 25 hundredths of 40 is times 40. And then we can multiply 25 times 40, because this is like 40 over 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, what's 4 times 25?
100.
100, so add another 0 and we get?
1,000.
1,000. So we have 1,000 over the 100 that was here. And then what's 1,000 divided by 100?
10.
10. So that gets the same answer that you have up here. So we're using the same kind of methodology where you turn the percent into a fraction and then multiply. Okay, so let's do it now with the 10%. What would that fraction be for 10%?
10 over 100.
10 over 100 of 70 is times 70. What's 10 times 70?
700.
700. So now we have 700 over 100, which equals?
7.
7. So we get the same answer here. Okay, so probably you don't need to go to all that trouble for these common percents, because you can just do it much more easily in your head, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we get to other percents, let's look at an example here. What would 28% of 70 be? Well, that one we don't usually memorize what 28% is, right? It's not like 1/4 or 1/3 or something like that. So how would you set up this problem, kind of like we did over here in the blue, to solve it over here?
28 over 100 times 70.
Good. Same pattern, right? So now you probably need a calculator to multiply 28 times 70. So let's go ahead and pretend we used our calculator. And that's 1,960. And then, of course, on the bottom we have the 100. And then when we divide by 100, we can always just move the decimal place twice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, to the left. So if we move it twice to the left here, what's the answer going to be?
19.6.
19.6. Easy as that. You can find the percentage of a number by just turning that percent into a fraction. Okay, let's look at one more example here. 42% of squirrels in a park have a disease. There are 150 squirrels in the park. How many squirrels have the disease? Okay, so what is the percent that you're trying to find of what number?
42% of 150.
Right, so let's go ahead and write that that's what we're trying to find. Now, how would you set this up as a math problem, kind of like we did in these other cases?
42 over 100 times 150.
Very good. Okay, then we can use a calculator to multiply 42 times 150, and we get 6,300 over 100. When you divide 6,300 divided by 100, what do you get?
63.
63. So we have 63, and what does that mean when we think?
63 out of 150 squirrels have the disease.
Right, so 63 squirrels are diseased, right?
Yeah.
Very good. So now you can take any percentage, and using this method of turning it into a fraction and multiplying, you can find the percents of numbers. Very good.